Hi you guys, this is Allison hanging out in my space to craft, and I've just picked up a whole bunch of photos that I had printed. I just had these printed at Walgreens. But before I do that, I'm going to be putting together a whole bunch of page kits for my retreat. I wanted to get another page done for my Christmas journal, and I'm going to do Christmas Eve. So I think because I have two photos from our church service on Christmas Eve, I want to do the big 6x8 paper. I do have this piece of paper, but it's not quite 6 wide. So to enlarge it, I'm going to do a border on one side. I could do it on two sides, but I think one side's enough. So I'm gonna need 6 inches, but I'm just gonna start here. Uh-oh, it looks like there's some paper caught in here. Let's get rid of that. That's not gonna help. There we go. So this is a super old, I think it's Stampin' Up. Yeah, Stampin' Up. A super old Stampin' Up border maker. And the reason I'm using this one, I do have another larger scallop border punch in with my Creative Memories stuff, but I think because this is a smaller page, that larger border, it's a bigger scallop, would be a little bit out of scale for the page. So I decided to speed this up. It took me probably 40 minutes to do the whole page, but you guys don't need to see me going through this whole process. I'm just double checking the measurement to see how much space I have. So I'm going to cut this just over 8 inches because the sleeve is actually a little bit bigger than 8 inches. So I go a little bit bigger. And then I'm going to take the scallop that I did. I'm cutting it at 1 inch. And then when I go to, and then I'm going to ink it. And then when I go to put it down, I realize I really like the other side better. So moving aside all my, so I go to put the tape on there and I'm like, ooh, I like that side even better than the pinker side. So I have to re-ink it. So I ink it on the correct side. And I'm really happy with this. So I've offset it about 1/4 of an inch. And that's making the paper the right width. I'm just fit checking just in case, because I don't want to make it too snug. And then I'm just going to trim out these photos. I'm just leaving a thin white mat on them. And then I'm going to stagger them, tuck one under the border, and then I'm going to use this pearlized red paper for one of them, and then that dark green paper for the other one. Just because this is the scraps and the size of scraps that I had sitting in the bin, rather than getting out a fresh sheet of paper, try and use up some of those scraps. All right, so my daughter is talking on the phone, starting the washer. I had to go close the laundry room door because it was getting loud. She's interrupted me 3 more times because she's talking on the phone. So maybe this time I can get through this voiceover. So the green matted photo I'm going to tuck under the border, and then the other photo at the top. And then I'm looking for something to use as a journaling spot. This is not, it doesn't provide me with as much journaling space as I would have liked. But there's just never enough space on these pages, y'all. It's fine. All I have to do is say that we went to church together and enjoyed the service. It's not a huge deal. I think about putting it up there because I think I can get a little more space out of it, but I don't want the red, all the red things touching. So I'm going to keep it where it was. And then I think about scooting up that photo so I can get a little more out of it. But then I also want to fit this holly berry on there. And I'm going to fussy cut it, actually, and turn it into more a piece of ephemera. I'm trying these other trees and things to see if I like them. I do have a few more things that I'm going to put on there. And then I realize, oh, I need a title as well. And the Merry Christmas that I had pulled out is just way too big. So I'm looking for something else. And I go back through my bin and I find this Joy. And I like that. And so I'm going to fussy cut this holly berry twig. And for now I'm keeping the sentiment on there, but I end up not using that. I end up cutting that off. So it doesn't take too long to fussy cut this, and I do go in on some of the leaves. So I leave a small halo, but you still get some of the black background because of the pine needles. So if you notice, if you don't love fussy cutting, it gets a lot easier if you move the paper and not the scissors. So if you notice, the scissors are pretty still, but the paper is getting moved around. And that makes it easier for you to see where you're cutting and to control and be able to do more circular cuts and things like that. These are not my best fussy cutting scissors, but they were adequate for this job. I probably should have pulled out my good ones. Here I'm just doing a few little snips in to give a little more detail, and that's where I decide I don't need that bottom, and I'm just going to cut it off. Gives me a little more flexibility for angling the holly berry. And tucking it under, so I'm happy with that. And then that Joy will pop off nicely. Gives it a nice background for it. And then these are some little holly berries. One side, the white was a little bigger than I wanted, so I trimmed a little bit of it off. And then there are a couple more little leaves, and so I'm going to tuck those at the bottom of the of the tag. And then I'm just checking the other bits that I have. I do end up putting that bow on there. I liked this. It said peace. And then I'm going to get some twine. Here I'm just looking for something else. I'm feeling like it needs a little more. So you can see I have, these are 3 different styles of embellishments, and I have been keeping them in this little tray for all my journaling. And I spot these little tiles that say Mary, and this was actually on Christmas Eve, so I definitely wanted to say Mary. And I'm looking for the word Christmas, and I only found it on this little red tag that said something, a longer phrase than just Christmas. So I'm just gonna chop it. So I'm just gonna cut it, and then I will put the tiles down to say Mary. And then it's feeling more ample, I guess. Fuller, like the page feels a little more finished this way. And then I still need to do some enamel dots and a couple of finishing touches. So I did have this little bow, decided to add that, and I'm going to use the red, green, and white twine. And just a little drop of quick drying liquid glue will hold those tails in place, and then some green and red enamel dots. So I changed my mind here. I'm going to do all green at the top and then all red at the bottom, just since there's already a lot of red up there. And because I didn't have 3 colors, so I needed to use the same color on each one. And then we're going to do some close-ups. Please give this video a thumbs up. I'm not sure I'm going to record, since we're already at the beginning of February, more journal pages. I am going to do them. I want to document what I have, so while I remember it. But you guys let me know if you want to see more of these journal pages and for me to keep going on videos of them. Otherwise, my next video is going to be some detailed page kits, and then my retreat will happen this weekend. Thanks a lot, you guys.